Hey, who'd you talk to? What's going on? It is me. It is me. It's Mike Lepre, King Michael. This is World of Legit Fantasy Wrestling brought to you by legitpodcast.com, aka ripodcast.com. Joining me as always, Joey Paranormal and his NWO, the Red Wolf.
It's my ugly sweater. I wore it to work today.
That's
Thought
awesome.
it'd be a nice little entrance for the show. I have so much wrestling memorabilia, like shirt wise, and I wore a couple at the beginning of the when we started doing this, and some of them, I've let myself go the past year and a half. Some of them don't fit as well. I have a leather Finn Balor jacket that I used to fit into, and now I would probably it would get stuck to me like Ross and Friends if you've ever seen that.
Yeah.
So I broke this bad boy out. It still fits, so I love it.
We are the Wolf.
Yeah, that's it. It works.
What do you think? So I keep playing the same song you want me to play. You're happy with that, right?
I like that opening.
All
It's
right.
that one gets kind of stuck in my head.
It makes it sound like we'd be walking down to the ring, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
And
And then when it hits that kind of break, that's when you'd get it. You'd roll into the ring. You'd hit
Yep.
the turnbuckle.
I get
Yeah,
one of
yep,
those.
yeah. That's
I
how I
already have.
picture it. There always needs to be that little break where you get into the ring, and then that kind of I don't want to say hook, maybe bridge, where that's where
Yeah.
you hit the turnbuckle, and that's where
Yep.
you do your rock. You just look at the crowd, or you do your Triple
Yep.
H. Yeah.
Yep. No, I 100% agree. I
Yeah.
100% agree. Here's the thing:
I
when you get kids, though, you'll throw all those shirts out. You
I
won't have room for them, and they won't matter as much.
have I have a whole drawer in my whole bureau, whole drawer in my bureau of shirts that I've bought, band shirts, shirts from content creators on YouTube, wrestling shirts that I've literally like never worn or worn once. They're just like shirts that I deem are too nice or like two of my favorite shirt. I just won't wear them. It's ridiculous. I have a thing with clothes. I don't know. I have like a million sweatshirts and jerseys too, but
Yeah.
I just I love them.
Look, I got I think I have anywhere from 15 to 20 something unique band shirts
Yeah,
of the
yeah,
band, just the band I was in. So it's like I've kept all those, right? And then other than that, I keep all my Giants. Anything that's New York Giants. I have so many New York Giants t-shirts, long sleeve t-shirts, sweatshirts, jackets, hats, hoodies, toques. Joe, you would flip your lid. Like it's lit. It's crazy. I just don't wear them. Like you know what I mean? I can't. I couldn't wear them. I couldn't
yeah.
wear all of them. It's too much. So so day one's coming up, right? That's the big thing. Did you thought that it was gonna be what? A
Yeah,
New Year's Eve?
yeah. I think that's going to be one of their new pay-per-views that they add in every year.
All right, but let's talk about. I want to get into WWE really early because I liked what I kind of saw in the beginning or the basic idea of it. Like here's what I liked about it. All right, they finally made Lashley really look good. Like this to me was the strongest he's looked ever. Even when he was crushing people, the way that he beat everybody up, then came in the ring and was just like him, still dressing sharp. Like I can't believe how over he's gotten in my book. Like in
Hmm.
other words, I can't believe how good he's done. All of a sudden, you're not
Yeah,
shocked at all that he shot up.
no. So I was a big Bobby Lashley fan with when he came in with his first run. And the biggest knock on him has always been that his inability to really cut good promos. He's not the greatest on the mic, which is why the most success he's had in the WWE has been when he's been paired with MVP, who is phenomenal on the mic. He actually might be losing MVP too, because it really looks like if you watched Raw this week, really looks like they're sowing the seeds for him to kind of flip face, which I'm interested to see how it's gonna work. Because I mean, you have your four main, top card guys, and it's two heels and Rollins and KO, and it's the tweener who's Bobby Lashley, and I love where they're going with the character because they need someone else who's not Roman Reigns, who's not Brock Lesnar, and honestly, who's not Drew McIntyre, who is a big guy but who can also wrestle. Because you can give me like Omos all day long, but I don't think he can really wrestle. But you give me Bobby Lashley, and that dude's a guy, like, if I saw him anywhere, I'd be like, I'm gonna walk on the other side of the street because you're gonna literally rip me in half.
Yeah, Bobby.
I love Bobby Lashley. I love that he's over. I love that they actually gave him a championship reign. I love that he went over Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania this year. Everything about what's going on with Bobby has been phenomenal. I'm so excited to see. I really hope that he comes out of day one with the championship.
Listen, so Omos cannot wrestle.
He's going to start soon, though.
No. He just can't wrestle. I watched the move. I watched his finish. His finishing move is dropping a guy. And oh my God, it's supposed to really, really hurt. Why? Because Omos is so tall. That's dumb. That is a dumb thing.
I've said that for so long. Is like when you get these giant guys like the Great Khali and even the Big Show to a degree, is their devastating maneuver is picking someone up really high and dropping them. Every one of them does some kind of military or guerrilla press, and it's like can somebody have some type of movement or some, like, again, I harp on this. That's why I like Baron Corbin so much, because he's not a 7-foot giant. Baron Corbin's a big dude, and some of the things that he would do in the ring, his athleticism. I mean, he was I think he was either a D end or an outside linebacker in college.
No, offensive lineman for the Cardinals, wasn't he not?
Baron Corbin was an lineman? No, I thought Corbin was with the Vikings, wasn't he?
Well, I'm gonna go.
No. Yeah, or Corbin was, no, I think if he was a lineman, he's undersized for a lineman.
No. He may be off the juice.
Oh yeah, all right. I mean,
he's offensive lineman when they go into like before becoming a star. Corbin, also known as King Corbin, played in the NFL. Corbin played Division II football at Northwest. He was an offensive guard.
Wow.
Dude, you gotta see how big he looks. You gotta see how big he looks.
And a guard too. Like, guards are usually the fat guys. The tackles are usually the more agile guys because they got to kind of take on that.
No. The guards are more maulers.
Yeah,
that's what he is. Hold on. Where is it? Dude, check this. See that?
Oh wow, he looks like me.
Look at the head. Look how big he is.
Yeah. Holy shit.
So my man was a big dude.
Wow. Okay. All right. I thought he was a linebacker. Right? Maybe I'm thinking of Reigns then, because Reigns, I think, might be a linebacker. Yeah,
Reigns was. That's why I think if they did this right and stop with the stupid happy Corbin, if they make Corbin go nuts, you've got a big heel on your hands.
Yeah. He was a big heel. He was one of the best heels they had. I mean, I guess he still is in a sense, but that lone wolf character, I think, was so great. And they made him King of the Ring. And actually, even the King character was over. And even the down on his luck sad Corbin was over, but they did him like Shorty G, and they gave him a Happy Corbin name, and that's when you know, like, he's never gonna get a push.
They gave him a hat, Joe.
Yeah. They gave him bowler.
Joe, they gave him a hat.
And his friend is Madcap Moore. What the We're going down a dark path for me right now.
So Corbin needs to go. They need to have Corbin have a moment of like someone talk. Vince McMahon should call Corbin into his office and explain to him where he came from, how he started in wrestling, and what he thought he was going to be. Right? And just leave Corbin with that to have to deal with it. That would be awesome because he could go insane, crazy, angry, so angry, right? That he goes back to being the Corbin that he tried to be when he came out.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. He has one of my favorite finishing moves in wrestling. It's a waste that he's not going to use it. So have Vince call him in, tell him what a failure he's been, what a disgrace, all this stuff. Really rip him down, break him completely down, and then show Corbin not being sad Corbin or happy Corbin. Show him being pissed off Corbin. Give him a couple weeks to build it, but just show the anger build. Boom, the big pop, he comes out and he obliterates somebody, and then he beats him up and leads him there as if to say, did you not think I could do this? You know what I mean? He needs to do that. He needs to be like, did you not think I could kick your ass? Because I just did. So that's what we need. That's another big guy that we can get. That would be, to me, a player.
Yeah. Yeah, I miss very much so his original heel character, like when he won the Money in the Bank championship, and I forget what it was he did to get himself in the doghouse. But it just sucks because one thing I think they should go back to doing is instead of just looking for these giant guys, these like 7 foot freaks, is go back to what you knew and go find these guys in college, right? Who are playing football but are probably not on a full scholarship, maybe not even on a half scholarship. Maybe they got a small scholarship, they're paying for most of it, but they're on the team, they're third string
Basketball too,
linemen or
though, Joe.
whatever.
Basketball too, though, Joe. A lot of basketball players. Big Show, Kevin Nash. Like these are all basketball players.
Yeah,
Omos. Like they're
but
all
it's
basketball players.
I think the more athletic, agile big men come from the NFL, though.
I don't know about that. I think the stronger athletes come from the NFL, but as far as like dexterity, the ability to move, basketball players are pretty nasty as athletes.
I'm not arguing that. I just think that of like the examples you gave, none of those guys were really agile in-ring movers. I mean, Kevin Nash too. I mean, he was big and he had he could actually do real moves, but he was not super agile. He was known for a boot and a jackknife power bomb, and otherwise I don't want to keep going back to Baron Corbin, but
Look, the way that they're taking athletes out of colleges, you're definitely getting better ones in football. Like they're only going after the centers in college basketball.
Oh yeah.
But they could be going after the power forwards.
The forwards, yeah.
The guys that have like 6 skills that could put on 20 pounds and be gigantic.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, have you seen Conor McGregor?
Yeah, he looks completely different.
How much weight did he put on? My man was what, 145, 150?
Yeah, soaking wet. Yeah.
Right? No, but really, that's what he fought at, right?
I couldn't tell you. I'm not the biggest UFC guy.
He looks like a $185, $190, because he's only what, 5, I don't know, 9, 10.
Yeah, he's not a big guy. He put on a lot of weight that makes you wonder how that's going to translate in ring.
I don't know, because the thing is, Jake Paul wants to fight him. Why is Conor bulking up? See, because if Jake Paul got to fight him again, and first of all, let's just talk about this for a second. Jake Paul fighting MMA fighters, right, in boxing, and people being surprised or being like so souped up that he won is all bullshit. That kid has been living off YouTube money and little kids giving him money for so long that he's become a boxer. He's trained long enough in his own gym with his own trainers. He's a young athletic kid, right? Big kid. He's become a pretty good boxer. Now, a pretty good boxer will always beat an MMA fighter who's not trained in just boxing.
Yeah.
Because it's a completely different fight for them. The urge to use your feet, to lock arms, to do anything has to be there the whole time. So him knocking out MMA fighters is like, doesn't surprise me. Now, his older brother went and fought Mayweather and got beat. Now, in my opinion, Mayweather hit him with a one punch because he couldn't get punches off because he kept getting hugged by Logan Paul.
Yeah.
So Mayweather hit him with one punch. And if you ever go back and watch it, watch Paul's legs as they start to give. Now, Paul outweighed Mayweather by 50 pounds, Joe, at least, right? You would think that a guy that's 50 to 60 pounds lighter than you, if he pops you at one, and even if it wasn't even a great punch, you wouldn't wobble like that. But all right, you did. Now, that brother wants to fight Mike Tyson. And they keep showing clips of him saying to people, but I'll beat him. He's old. And everyone's saying back to him, no, you're going to get hit, and then you're going to realize who you're fighting. It's like, right? Like that kid don't get it. Now, the younger brother who's making a big career beating MMA guys, he keeps calling out Conor. Now, Conor's a really smart person, right? So all of a sudden, Conor's like 185, all muscle. Secondly, Conor trained to fight Mayweather. And Conor's fight against Mayweather wasn't grappling and holding on to him and throwing maybe 1 or 2 punches. They were going at it, right? Going at it. So if both these Paul brothers move forward like they say they want to move forward, and they keep provoking these two guys. First of all, the older brother against Tyson's, I don't even care. It's not even close. He's going to be 52 probably by the time the fight happens, and it doesn't matter, Joe.
Nope.
Not because I'm old, but I'm going to say this. 30, 40, 50 is not what it used to be. Like, it just isn't. It isn't. And if you can stay in physical shape at 52, still move, still throw bombs like Tyson, he's going to knock you out. It's just not. He's gonna knock that kid out. He's gonna hit that kid so hard in the arm just once, like to warm up, like a whack, just to let him know how hard he hits. And you see boxers when they take a shot to the ribs or the side, it's like their brain goes, "Oh, he hits this hard." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and then the other one, if Conor gets him with that left, I think Conor goes in there and fights this kid and beats him up. I don't know. They're both like as much boxers as the other. Now, if this kid ever really fought a boxer, though, Joe, he'd get his ass handed to him. But that's why he's not doing it. So, all right, back to wrestling. I had to touch on those two guys because they drive me nuts. I'm loving Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens. Do not like them together. Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens.
Did you say wait? Did you say, because I like an a-hole started talking? Did you say you don't like them together, or you love them? Okay, all right.
Love Seth Rollins and Kevin.
They were the best part of Raw. They are such assholes.
Yep.
And when you put them together, they make this superhuman giant asshole.
Yep.
And they're both, especially now, and they play almost like a comedic role. They play like that comedic asshole role. I think Seth Rollins does it so well, and we didn't really see it a lot early in his career. And that's, I think, one of the reasons, and he kind of has a Randy Orton effect where he's kind of reinvented himself, and his is a little more dramatic. But he's reinvented himself in a way where he's still a heel, but it's different, and it's so, like, not necessarily likable, but likable in a sense where it's like, I like watching this because this shit's funny. Him and Kevin Owens play off each other so well. Like the segment where they're walking in the back after the opening segment and they're talking to each other, and they're talking about Bobby Lashley or something like that. And I was almost about to say Daria, Sonya Deville and Adam Pearce come walking by, and they're like, "Oh, like, let's see how you guys do as a tag team," because I think they were arguing. You guys are gonna fight Bobby Lashley and Big E tonight. And Kevin Owens is like, "Yeah, all right." And then Seth Rollins starts freaking out, and it's just like they play off each other so well. It's just great. It's so good, and the fact that, like, you never know at any point in time that they could just turn on each other no matter what. It's like that little hint of, like, they both are assholes, so anything can happen.
So will they form a group?
I think.
Look, WWE is watching what AEW is doing, and AEW keeps forming groups, and they know that's where the money is. Are they going to make Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins form a group and add members?
I mean, it's possible depending on what happens at day one. If Rollins wins the title, I don't think so. But if it stays around Big E's waist or goes to Bobby Lashley, then it's possible. And the thing is, too, I think why I kind of in my heart of hearts know that Bobby's not going to win is they're either going to keep it on Big E and keep him the face champion, or it's going to go to a heel. And Bobby's clearly being turned face kind of slowly. So you're either going to see Big E retain or Seth is going to win. I think if Big E retains, Seth and KO start kind of their own thing as almost like a hate response to Big E still being champion. Because I think you'll see Seth and KO kind of working together in the Fatal 4-Way, and they'll have their riffs and they'll turn on each other. But I think they're going to do more work together than they will separately in that match.
All right. So let me say something that you just touched on really quick. Can Big E please change his wardrobe?
Yeah, that singlet's weird.
Can we get him out of that? I'm being serious. Imagine if he had like a really cool like tank top. Like, you know what I mean? That just showed his muscle, made him look more like badass instead of like I don't know. He just looks like he looks like what a wrestler is supposed to look like in the 80s. It doesn't make sense to me.
What would he wear for like the bottoms though? That's my thing. Like, would he be wearing kind of like the half short, like the Riddle half shorts? You know what I mean? Is he gonna go with like the Triple H like G-string?
I think he pants. I think I think he should go to pants.
Like tights, something long.
Yeah, like a black pair of tights, right? With like a black like type shirt that suits him better.
Yeah,
fits him better. Shows off his arms and whatnot. Changes the haircut, please. Please.
I just wish they'd stop doing the over the top. Like I get that he's doing like really cool callbacks to like different like anime and different other things that he likes to do. I just wish they would stop doing these ridiculous colors. He did like a maroon, gold, and white recently that was just hideous. It's a color like I'm with you. I don't like it.
Look, see how his hair is? Shave it into a mohawk. Just make a mohawk, right? Put the new shirt on him, put the tights on him, and now Big E is give him some like wristbands, just black wristbands, and he's now a beast. Like, do that. Why won't you do that? He can still hang out with the New Day. He's just gonna be like, I don't do that anymore. Like he doesn't do the Cleveland. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's not his thing anymore. He's still those are still his boys. He just doesn't roll like that anymore. He's got a new style, just like how Kofi's changed from the whole boom, boom, boom to the shaking of the hips. Big E has not evolved yet. He's still the same friggin' wrestler in the package that we got. Give him a mohawk, Joe. Give him a good-looking shirt. Put him in tights. Make Big E a bastard. Make him come out. He's still friends with those guys. But they should all make a heel turn, if you want my opinion.
All right,
Xavier Woods is a king, should have already turned heel, full heel. Make Big E that type of heel, and then make Kofi be like almost the Shawn Michaels of the group. The guy that puts on sensational performances, and he's just happy that like his group is the best. He don't care if he doesn't have a belt. As long as they have the belts, that's how they should act. As long as they got the stuff, doesn't matter which person has it. But they got to show their personalities. Stop with the fucking match and outfit like you're in a cheerleading group.
So did you? I know we're on Raw, but did you see King Woods' segment from SmackDown?
No,
on Friday. So there was
not.
actually a segment they rolled into the back. I forget, someone interrupted, but somebody, and I forget who it was. I just remember seeing Ricochet, and I wanted to hurl because Ricochet was in the background. But somebody was like, he had his hand out, and they were kissing his ring. And it's like, that's not something a face would do, like sit in a throne in the back room and have his subjects kiss his ring. Like that's heelish to me. So it does, like, are they going to turn Woods heel? Like I could see it. I don't know if WWE can see it because we know that their long-term storylining can be very hit or miss. But is it something where eventually Kofi's going to look at it and be like, all right, dude, like you've done this for long enough, man. Like cut the shit. Like you're not a king. You just won a tournament. Like let's stop with this noble bullshit.
How do you have a face king?
Yeah.
I mean, no offense. I go by the name King Michael. That's been my nickname or rap name or whatever you want to call my stage name, performing name since like 90, 91. So I already know what response I'm getting when I go with my name. People immediately don't like me because of the name. Same thing with the Genius Kev. If we ever have somebody smart on Paranormal, they immediately want to prove that he's not as smart as he thinks. They think that we take this whole thing too serious. That's the problem with the world, Joe. Like, that's why I refuse to change my name to my real name. I actually got into a fight with a friend of mine who wanted me to change my name on Facebook because I was too old to have King Mike L still there. And I'm like, why? First of all, why would I want my real name on Facebook if I could just put up a fake name and never have to put my real name there? One, that's a plus. Two, I've earned the name. It's not like it was just dropped all of a sudden out of the blue. I've literally put in enough work, did enough stuff, whether it's in music, filming a short film, I didn't use the name in writing a book, but it's still the same guy, doing the podcast, I did the puppets, always under King Mike L. So I've earned the friggin' name. Why does that bother other people? That's my point. Like, that name alone, my name alone on Facebook bothers certain old friends of mine or people that like I get to know. Or if I start to get to know them, they don't like me right away. They think that I'm going to be pompous and arrogant and a prick. And that's literally what they think. And you know what? I'm a prick, but that's about as far as that goes. And even when I was in the band, people would not approach me. They'd approach everybody else in the band, and they wouldn't come up to me. They said because I looked like I was going to be mean. And all that really was me freaking out because I couldn't deal with, like, that much attention so fast. I had a hard time with it. So what people see is never really what's going on. But still, the name King, you can't get off as a good guy right away. So Xavier Woods, welcome to the club, buddy. Welcome to the club. I'll show you where the locker room is. I'll show you how to get into the sauna, what you got to do at the door. I'll help you out. Welcome to the King Club. Welcome to the King Club. But especially if you make someone kiss your ring, you only kiss the ring of a gangster, maybe the Pope. I don't think anybody else.
Or a king if it's back in the medieval ages.
Yeah, exactly. And that's never in a good way.
Oh, it was Usos. They interrupted. Sorry.
So my point is, can't do. And you know what? The Usos are another story. But look, you got to make them all heel. Make them all heel. Let's get something going, for Christ's sakes. Let's make Big E a character. Let's make Baron Corbin a character. I just gave you 2 characters that would be great in the WWE, but they won't do it. Xavier Woods could be good if he went with the deep. But Kofi could be even greater if he just let those 2 guys be them and just sat back like he's Kofi. He's just cool with everything. That's the character that he should always be. That he just rolls with every punch. No matter what adversity, he's just like, I'm good. Bring back the Jamaican part of the whole smooth vibe. He's good. He's just good. And I would love a wrestler like that. He's like I'm good. All right. So you said the Usos came running out.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, they were the ones because basically they come in and they go, hear ye, and Kofi was like, actually it's ye, it's Old English, and it was just stupid, and that's why I remembered who it was that came in. It's just dumb.
I would like to see the Usos off TV for a while. Like I don't want to watch them wrestle. I don't know. Is that mean?
No, because there's nothing for them to do. I mean, the feud right now is Roman Reigns versus Brock, and they're fighting over custody of Paul Heyman. So the bloodline isn't really involved in this because Lesnar doesn't have a faction. So that's why they're giving the Usos, like, they're kind of pushing them off to King Woods and Kofi. Because I think like the belts will probably get the bloodline will probably lose the belts to Kofi and King Woods or whatever.
Can I tell you what they should do?
Yeah.
So all right. You want a faction for Brock? I'm going to give you a faction for Brock. Give him Shorty G and
Otis.
Shelton Benjamin. No. Shelton Benjamin just walks away from his guy, and so does what's his face. So Shorty G, whatever the guy's really name. Chad Gable,
who's a phenomenal wrestler, by the way. His match with Randy Orton on Raw was actually really freaking good.
Oh, as I'm saying, they're real wrestlers. So wait, listen. So Chad Gable, Shelton Benjamin, Brock Lesnar, and then that new guy,
Gable Stevenson,
the wrestling guy.
Yeah, the Olympic gold medalist, right? Yeah, Gable Stevenson. Yeah,
and then Brock brings Gable Stevenson in as the new kid, and that's his team. First of all, he went to college with what's his name, Shelton Benjamin. They have Minnesota roots. They know each other. Like they go way back. Those two. And that guy Shorty G is an actual wrestler who would perfectly get involved with them. And then now Brock adds another guy who's a beast. Brock gets to let this guy walk in the shadow for a couple of months before they split up or whatever. But now Brock's got his own team, and that team would kick the shit out of the Usos. Like, give him those guys, man. Give Brock Lesnar to those guys, please.
Yeah. I would maybe choose. I probably wouldn't go Shelton Benjamin only because I would rather go with newer. Like, if we're going to give someone a Brock Lesnar rub, I wouldn't necessarily put like Shelton Benjamin.
But you got to take care of Brock. You really do. And giving him somebody that he knows really well might be a smart move.
Yeah, fair enough. That's true. That makes sense. The other issue too is I don't think Gable Stevenson is for one, he's going to Raw. I think that's confirmed, but I don't think he's necessarily, I don't want to say ready, but I don't think I just don't think he's going to start his wrestling career anytime soon. Like I think it's going to be 2022 before we start seeing him, and he's obviously going to end up on the 2.0 brand. I would love to see
You just got to bring him out, Joe. He doesn't have to wrestle him and make him wrestle.
That's true.
On day one, you just need to bring him out. He could do just a clothesline, and then all of a
Yeah.
sudden you realize that this is a group, and you're like, shit.
I want him. Truthfully, I would love to see him bring up, in a sense, the mini Brock. His name's Parker Bordeaux. I forget what they're calling him in NXT. I think it's Holland. Forget they call, or even Braun Breaker. That would be a sick little twosome. Braun and Brock. But I off the top
What
of my head,
about
I
the
forget.
two brothers? What about the two brothers down in NXT? The big blonde dudes. They're big.
Oh, what is it? The Grizzled Young Veterans?
Yeah, but what are they called? The last name is the same. It's like
Oh yeah, it is Harlan. That's what I'm thinking of.
it's like Apollo. It's Creed. The
Yeah,
Creed brothers.
Julius. Oh yeah, okay. It's Julius Creed and yeah, they're the Creed brothers. Yeah, Julius Creed and No, I can't see the other guy's name. Brutus and Julius Creed.
They're big dudes. You know what I mean? That would
Yeah.
be wouldn't be bad.
Yeah, and they're already a built-in tag team too, because you kind of almost need that when you have a stable. Is it's tough to just bring in, like you have to write a lot more of a story to bring in like four random dudes. But if you bring in a tag team, it's almost kind of like how they did the Bloodline, where I cannot remember which one was which. It was Jimmy or Jay, whoever. But one of them was out, the other one was still wrestling, and Roman kicked shit out of him and was like, "Okay, see, acknowledge me now, you're in." And the other one came back and was like, "Man, I'm not really fucking cool with this," and they beat the shit out of him. And then he was like, "All right, I don't want to get the shit kicked out of me anymore. Like I'm cool. Like let's just all right, fine."
No,
So it's
yeah.
there's excuse me, there's ways to go about it. I still would love to see him and Harlan because they were calling Parker Bordeaux like when he was first signed the mini Brock, and to see like Brock take this kid up from NXT and be like, all right, well, they called you the mini me, so like, why are you the mini me? And then his first match, he either one loses stupidly or B demolishes the guy, because either way, I think you get the same effect. And Brock's like, all right, I see it. I need help. You need help. You're gonna benefit from me teaching you how to just be an absolute animal.
I don't like that, Joe, because last time Brock worked with just big guys was when he had his own Survivor Series team, and he had Matt, whatever his name was, and he had the Australian guy who couldn't wrestle, and he had all like big gigantic monsters, and he didn't work. That team did not work well at all. You got to put him with former wrestlers. I'm telling you, you got to put him back with collegiate wrestlers, right? Because Brock will feel comfortable with them. You can't put Brock with a bunch of badasses. At least I don't think so. Because that's not going to work. There's no dynamic there. There really isn't. Where is the connection of them all? If they're all former collegiate wrestlers that want to prove that they're by far superior athletes to these other people, that's what I would do. To me, that's the only really route that would be like, all right, word.
Well, I mean, if it makes you feel better, Parker Boudreaux was a UCF O lineman. So he's not a collegiate wrestler, but he is a former athlete and football player like Brock was. So there's still like they don't have to bring him up as Harlan in this character that he's playing. He can come up as just Parker or whatever they want to call him. He doesn't have to bring that gimmick, but like it's something that could work. So I'm looking at this kid is ridiculous. This is like the type of kid that I'm talking about, where he's a big dude, but he's also agile as hell. Of course, he's an O lineman too. I don't understand how that ends up working out. But
It just goes to show you that O linemen is not that they're just eating more.
Oh yeah, I mean,
a lineman is not. It's not just because he's eating more food.
Well, the footwork that they have to work on to be able to stay upright as they're getting pushed backwards too. Yeah, and then be able to make a wall. But yeah,
all right.
And Paul Heyman was a big advocate for this kid too. So like it's very built in.
Heyman is going to go. So Heyman's going with Brock, right?
That's a good question. I could see it all. I could see this whole thing. There's so many. I actually like this. What they're doing with this, because there's so many different ways that this could go. So obviously Roman Reigns, Superman punched Paul Heyman last Friday, and now it's like, oh well, he's going back to Brock, or what's gonna happen, and you could see maybe he goes back to Brock, but like Brock is a totally different character now. Brock isn't the Jimmy John short wearing former UFC World Heavyweight Champion coming back to the WWE. He's the I left for a year and actually went and worked on the farm that I live on with my family, secluded from everybody. I came back, no gimmick. This is just Brock Lesnar, the farmer Southern guy who just wants to kick the shit out of Roman Reigns because I just don't like you kind of guy. So he doesn't really need the advocate anymore. I mean, I said this on previous shows. Like I love the whatever they're letting, if they're just letting Brock be the real Brock, I love it. This guy,
I think he's
funny.
finally comfortable, if you want my opinion.
Well, because he doesn't, because I think deep down, or in reality, yeah, he's a badass, but he wasn't necessarily this like, because you hear it all the time, like people who meet Brock are like, yeah, he's actually the nicest person ever. Like he's usually super nice. But if you see him on TV or in the UFC, like he looked like a giant douche. Like he looked like the type of guy where if you were like, hey, Brock, I'm a big fan, he'd be like, cool, go fuck yourself. But I think that was something he more had to do. Like, because maybe when he get like Ronda Rousey had her routine when she would fight, maybe it's just like their routine and their just how they act when they're that testosterone and that amp up they get before a fight. I think him getting to go home and relax and be himself, and WWE saying, hey, come on back, just be Brock, we don't care. Yeah, he's getting to actually be the real Brock Lesnar, who is a face now, like the real Brock Lesnar, who's just like, hey man, I'm just here to have a good time and kick ass. Like I'm here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out
of bubblegum.
Except he's like, hey, I'm just here to rake shit and kick ass, and there's no shit for me to rake.
Yep, it's basically it. No cows for me to tip.
Yeah.
What else happened on Raw? Well, Bianca Belair beat Doudrop. She actually put her up on her shoulders, which was badass.
Yeah, she finally hit the KOD,
but
which is like
again,
a big thing.
Doudrop is a mess. It's like watching a dumpster fire. It's awful. Awful. The character, everything, awful.
I think what sucks too is her in-ring wrestling skill is pretty good. And I like that, like her finisher is the Vader bomb. Like there's so like as a wrestler, if they package her correctly, she could be fantastic in the women's division, because the women's division need bigger, stronger women. You need that. You need the Nia Jax. You need the Awesome Kong. Like you need the Nyla Rose, I think, I think it's Nyla Rose or Nyla Jack. I forget her last name. You need those big hulking monster wrestlers in both divisions, men's and females, and to have just a.
So see how you had to stop though there, Joe, for a second, because it's almost like we go, yeah, you have to have those monster wrestlers, those gigantic wrestlers, and then it's like, even in the girls division, like we're almost like apologizing for it, because like we dare we insult the woman for being too big, but we have to say this is wrestling, and she's really big, and they portray her as a monster. So that's not us saying what it is. That's them.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, like when it comes to that too, like you could be any shape, size, whatever you want. Like I don't give a shit. And to actually, what I was gonna get to is like you have this division now where it's just a bunch of like dainty, small, blonde wrestlers running around like it's the 1990s again, and you need more who got a win this week. You need more Rhea Ripley's. You need more Ruby Riots. You need more Sarah Logan's. You need diversity on your roster. And they started doing that. Vince got scared, pulled the plug, and now he's pushing the Mandy Roses, who don't deserve to be titles because she's just not a great wrestler. The Becky Lynch, Liv Morgan thing, it's not really hitting well. And I mean, I also don't think Liv has really done enough to get her big push that she's getting. But what do a lot of these women have in common? Alexa Bliss, she's probably my favorite female wrestler on the roster right now. But what did she do prior to getting her championship run? Because I had started watching a few months, like maybe 4 or 5 months before she won her the tables match. She really didn't do much. She was just a great heel. And that's why she got put in that role, and that's why she won the championship. I mean, her in-ring ability has gotten way better, but what it's coming down to is outside of the few, like Bianca Belair getting a run with the title, which they ruined by giving her Becky Lynch. Outside of the Becky Lynches, they go to the same trope that they have for years, and it's kind of not right. Like, and it's the same thing in the men's division. Like we're seeing, like Big E finally got a championship run, and Bobby Lashley finally got a championship run, but it's always still the same like just another white guy. And they need to break out of these tropes of like it's always the cute the hot sexy blonde that is the top. And I get it, looks and sex sells, but at the same time, like, Asuka was one of the best NXT women's wrestlers ever. Like she had that like when she came out, you were like, whoever's fighting her is gonna get her ass absolutely pulverized. And they've ruined her on the main roster by just making her another face in the crowd. And that's wrong. Like it shouldn't be that way. And Nia Jax, she deserved her bad rap because she was very dangerous in the ring. I mean, we saw multiple times how she injured some people, and Ronda Rousey was the same way. Rousey was way too green when she came up, and I mean, she almost ripped Alexa, like literally almost ripped Alexa Bliss in half. But they need to do something, and they need to change things up. And I think Dewdrop deserves more than what they're giving her, and it's sad because her in-ring ability is really good, and her and Bianca Belair have great chemistry, and their matches are actually really good, and they don't get the time, or I don't know. I'm starting to go off the rails now, and now I'm starting to kind of lose where I'm going. But I hope like I'm kind of hitting what I'm trying to say is like there needs to be more diversity in the women's roster, and they're just leaning back on their old like let's give the sexy blonde the championship and just Mandy Rose on NXT. As a guy, I loved it. But she was off on some vacation and she went up on the video screen and she's like, oh, I'm about to go take a dip in the pool. Here's my NXT championship. And they flash down to basically from her neck to her ass. And she was in a bikini. And I bet you men everywhere were like, yes, because I know I was. But at the same time, I also see what they're doing. And they're trying to get views on YouTube and on TV by selling sex, which is fine if that's what you want to do. But it's not the 90s anymore. And honestly, as a wrestling fan, I want to see more. Like I like seeing the Nia Jaxes and the Awesome Kongs who are just like, yo, this girl's gonna run you over and it's gonna suck. And WWE doesn't want to do that anymore.
Again, my issue is always been this. Yet, wait, hold on. This might sound weird for a second. I don't want to brace you. Like, you you gotta just. If you're a big person and you get into wrestling, don't go acting like it's a surprise that they play us. I mean, they play you out like a big person. Like, that's where I get mad. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I mean it's there's one thing about them playing like Dewdrop as being a bigger wrestler because I mean she is. It's like the Big Show. They called him big, like he was a big dude. But just the name, like calling her Dewdrop, I think is like it is instantly delegitimizing her and setting her up for failure. And you could put her in a high profile, like when you think about her and Bianca Belair right now is technically a top of the card feud.
One of the top of card female fights.
Yes.
Yep.
And granted, Bianca, and it's almost like they're just using Dewdrop to show you how much of a badass Bianca Belair is. And they don't need to feed her a large women wrestler to make Bianca Belair look good because she's looked good on her own. They should be building Dewdrop into this beast who you don't have to give her a championship, but at least make her a threat.
We've now said the name Dewdrop too many times. And her makeup is still atrocious.
I'll keep calling her. I'll call her Piper Niven. I mean,
next match, Joe, you must have loved. Finn Balor beats Austin Theory.
This was a huge surprise. Granted, it's gonna eventually end up with Theory going over.
Oh yeah, Finn. Just a setup. You knew that, right?
Yeah,
it was a win, but a setup.
But I was 100% assuming that he was just gonna instantly lose, because it can go. Because again, this goes like what I was talking about with Brock Lesnar. Is like these type of build-ups can go one of two ways. You can go, and this is what Vince did. Vince was like, "Hey, you better not lose," and they kept saying, "Hey, Austin, you better not lose." And what does he do? He goes out, he gets too ahead of himself, he works too slow, and Finn, the veteran, takes advantage of it. So it's basically building him like, hey, okay, well, you lost, and then he attacked Finn in the back because we got to do the same thing over and over again. So it's going to build to another match, and Austin Theory is eventually going to go over. But I was surprised that they gave Finn the win. I mean, again, Finn doesn't need a win over Austin Theory. It does nothing for him. It just makes Austin Theory look.
Do you know why they use Finn in this role?
Because they don't think Finn is anything more than enhancement talent at this point.
More so than that, though.
Because he's a former champion.
More so than that.
No, I'm out of ideas.
Body size.
Oh, because he matches. Yeah. Okay.
He makes Austin Theory not look that small.
Well, that and the fact that yes, and they both are very athletic, phenomenal. Like Austin Theory's actually he's really good between the ropes. Obviously, we know Finn is phenomenal between the ropes. So Finn makes Austin look good.
Up and there go the dogs, Joe. I told you at
Yeah.
one point the dogs are gonna go off, but they went off.
Yeah, I mean, 45 minutes in though, it's not too bad. It's been quiet for a good 46 solid minutes. Can't complain.
Yeah, it hasn't been. So all right, let's go to AJ Styles and Omos appear on Miz TV.
So, do we want to talk about the fact that they
No,
had two TV segments on one TV program?
no. The cutting edge and Miz was on it, and then there was Miz TV.
Yeah. There was a cutting edge with Maurice, and then Miz TV with Omos and AJ Styles. And again, because there's only one, besides this podcast, there's only one other wrestling thing you should be, well, WrestleMania is pretty good too, but there's only one other wrestling news thing you should be watching, and that's What Culture Wrestling. And Simon Miller, again, I'll shout him out. Not that he would ever see this, but Simon Miller was like, so they had the Miz TV, which was about a tag team that's breaking up, and then Cutting Edge, that was about a breakup of. It was just crazy. Like it all was like none of it made any. It was just all like the cat chasing his tail. It's such a waste of time. It's really all it is. Is you don't like. There are so many people on this roster, and instead we're having 5 people on 2 talk shows on a TV show.
But Joe,
We're like in Inception.
what did I tell you about why they gave Edge this rivalry?
Because he doesn't have to wrestle. He doesn't have to fight. They can give him a lot of time. Yeah.
Joe, how much has he been resting in the last couple weeks?
No, he has not wrestled at all.
I was so right with that. That's just what they do. They're just, giving him some time to rest up his old bones and have an easy, a lot of talking, a lot of not doing nothing thing with what's his face? The Miz. All right. So and the whole AJ Styles Omos breaking up thing, it's like, yeah, all right. I mean, we knew it was coming, and I don't think it was done very well. I think it actually came a little late, so I didn't like it. And I don't think Omos. I don't think there's a person out there that's like, oh my God, Omos is gonna win the championship. He's gonna be incredible. He wrestles worse than Braun Strowman did when Braun was even really big. Braun could at least move.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to agree with you or disagree, but I just haven't seen enough of him on his own wrestling because whenever he gets tagged into a tag team, all he does is just stand there. Someone runs into him. He picks them up. He slams them or he throws them.
So are you expecting him to do more?
Yeah, looking at a picture of the guy, I mean, he's not like, I don't want to say like overweight, but he's not like, he doesn't look chubby in any way, shape, or form. He is an absolute unit. Like he should be championship material. It's just
Omos?
yeah. Have you like look at him? I mean,
I
that's
know,
the guy,
dude, but
he's
I
the
can
guy
tell
that
you right now he can't move. I can
he's the
look
guy
at him
that
and tell
Vince
you,
drools over.
dude, I can look at him right now and tell you he can't move. 1, 2, I can tell you he couldn't move as a basketball player. I'll
Yeah.
bet my hair that if we can find any kind of YouTube video of Omos playing college basketball, that he moves so slow and was such just a defensive player and so awkward. He even seems awkward, dude, which is a bad sign. Another bad sign for a big wrestler. All right, let's move. Ray and Dominic Mysterio beat them in that next match, and that's when they break up. Now, Ray and Dominic Mysterio suck.
Yeah.
It's so fruity and stinks, and it's supposed to be like, wow, gee whiz, Dad, this is a great tag team. Geez whiz. I want to see them get obliterated. I love nothing more than watching Dominic Mysterio take an ass whooping. I hope that kid gets his ass kicked for the next 10 years. He's got this goofy smile on his face and that dumb wrestling outfit. And you know what? Stop doing your dad's moves. You look awkward because you're like 6'5", and your dad's like 5'2". They don't look like the same moves.
Yeah. He needs to find his own. He needs to break off and do the singles thing. He needs to kind of figure out his own niche.
He's a little kid. He's a long way ahead of him, man. That
Oh,
kid's
I know, but you know why Ray re-signed with WWE and got such a huge contract? Because the WWE said we will sign your son and he'll go straight to TV. Because Dominic didn't go on NXT. Like he Dominic's first professional wrestling match in the WWE, and this is encompassing everything that WWE does, was with Seth Rollins at SummerSlam, and it wasn't bad.
well,
So I think that's where WWE saw that and was like, okay, keep him on TV, whatever.
no, but see, it's not a bad idea to put him up against someone as good as Seth because
'Cause-
Seth will carry him.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I get it.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't make sense that he gets to fight Seth Rollins on his first match. But if you want to make the kid look good, put him in there with somebody that can just call the match, get it done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Seth's one of those guys.
I agree with you. It's just, so in my head, I'm thinking of it as like that's looking at it realistically, and I'm trying to look at it as the like I'm watching this to be like I'm supposed to suspend reality watching wrestling.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
But there's
I
only
don't-
so much you can do it.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying though. But like him going out and fighting Seth Rollins, like I can't suspend my reality going, boy, he sure deserved that match. No, man, fuck you. Get to the back of the line.
Yep.
Like it's I don't know. And then the whole poking of the eye out and all it just so much of it just sucked.
All right. So wait. So then Randy Orton beats Chad Gable, which makes sense.
It's a great
But I like
match.
the fact that he couldn't put the RKO on Otis.
Yeah.
Otis has no neck. That's the
Yeah.
whole joke of this.
Yeah. Then
Right?
he couldn't move him. Yeah.
So I wonder what they can do with that, because comedy wise, you could have Orton and what's his face backstage talking about how do you give an RKO to a guy with no neck?
Yeah. Yeah.
It would be
Well, you gotta make
hilarious.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It goes to show you how wasted, like, so seeing this match shows you how wasted Otis and Gable really are. Because Otis he's a great wrestler for his size, and we know he's hilarious from what he did with Heavy Machinery, and we've known that Chad Gable is a phenomenal wrestler. I mean, he got screwed with the Shorty G crap. He probably should have been a King of the Ring, but again, you don't put the King's crown on a face. So it just sucks because at the same time, I really don't want to keep seeing this in a sense because it's the same thing over and over again. But it is nice that Otis and Chad are getting TV time and getting what looks to be they're going to get tag team title opportunity at some point, and this might be where they lose the championships. I mean, or they win the championships. This might be where RK Bro actually loses, and you start to see the split between Randy Orton and Matt Riddle. But yeah, it's I want to see more of these two, and I want to see more than them just being like the heel Alpha Academy. You know, like when it was Chad and Jason Jordan, and they were Alpha Academy. They were the face, like we're the Angle proteges or the Angle 2.0s. Now it's like the Alpha Academy. We're just mean mat wrestlers. Like I want to see more from them than just here they are. You know.
No, I agree. I just had to have a dog moment just
Yeah, I didn't know. I was gonna say something, and then I kind of got lost in my own thoughts, and then the doggo was already gone by the time I finished ranting.
Let's see. Yeah, you've done well when I had to take a phone call. You've done well when I had the dog. You're doing good, Joe. You're doing good. Moving up in the world. All right. Dolph Ziggler beats Damian Priest via count out because he was just so goddamn mad at Robert Roode.
Yeah, I called this.
Stupid. They
So
didn't know what to do with this.
yeah, a lot of this show I called last week. By the way, I basically booked this show last week.
Then you booked a horrible show, Joe, and I would not take props for that.
I didn't book it. Hey, I booked it knowing what they were gonna do, not what I would want to do. This match makes absolutely no sense. It wasn't terrible, but why does Dolph have to fight for a chance at the United States Championship when the past few weeks Damian Priest has just been giving out the US Championship opportunities? So why does Dolph have to wrestle for an opportunity when other guys were just given opportunities because Damian Priest had an open challenge? Like it doesn't go together. It doesn't make sense.
It was a waste. It was just trying to get these guys TV time, and it stunk.
Man,
And
but you're
then
gonna see this match again though, because now Dolph is gonna wrestle for the United States Championship because he won technically this match, and
I
you
don't care
watch
about it. I don't
you
want to watch it.
you watch this show and you get an opening like you do with the four top card guys. You get the RK Bro stuff. You get the stuff with AJ and Omos, which isn't fantastic, but it's not bad. You get the cutting edge. You get the Edge, the Miz, and then you get this garbage where it's like you don't know what you're doing with the United States champion. He does the open challenges, and then out of nowhere, you're like, okay, well now he's wrestling someone who has to beat him for a chance to wrestle him for the championship. But it's like, but then why didn't he just come out at any point in the last like 4 weeks when he was just handing out opportunities? Like none. This is the stuff that like you watch it and you're like, this is why I don't want to watch this anymore. And I don't even know if we got to it. The friggin' 24/7 BS. Like it's just those types of things where it's like I can't. The stuff I like in this show is so overshadowed by the stuff that just makes me go, I hate you and everything you're doing.
Let's see. Yeah. So I don't want to talk about the Miz match. Who cares? The Miz attacking Edge on the cutting edge.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. And obviously the Maurice was a decoy. Yeah, that's yeah.
But then, thankfully, Rhea Ripley beats Queen Zelina. Thankfully. This is the most underused wrestler in wrestling right now, in my opinion, Rhea Ripley. I can't believe they don't use her enough. She should be the champ. Period. End the story.
Yep. Yeah, she should be wrestling Charlotte for a chance at the championship. Instead,
no, get her out of there with Charlotte. I don't want to see her
well,
fight Charlotte. I don't want that again.
I'm just saying that should be the program to get the belt off of Charlotte because right now over on SmackDown they're doing Toni Storm and Charlotte, which I'm glad an NXT UK wrestler is getting an opportunity to shine in the WWE. But what is Toni Storm? A hot blonde. So it's the same freaking thing. Rhea Ripley should be one of the champions on one of these brands, and it's a shame that she's not. It's a shame she's being wasted with Queen Zelina, who I actually really like as well. But the gimmick and everything they're doing is just it's a waste of time.
I didn't mind this match. Like that's what I'm saying is I didn't mind this match. It was a fun match. Like I don't know. It was a good match. Like I didn't mind it.
Yeah, you liked it because Rhea looked like a badass.
Yeah,
as she should.
All right, and then the show ends with Becky Lynch and Liv Morgan trading verbal barbs. This after Morgan had attacked Lynch at a recent training session, Morgan vowed to start 2022 by becoming Raw's Women's Champion. I hate when they tell us what they want to accomplish and make us have to watch it as it goes along. Just like when Xavier won the King of the Ring.
And we had the documentary to go along with it.
We know what's going on.
Yeah.
Let's go Liv Morgan to become champion. We know that's what the WWE wants to do. They want to build her up until she becomes champ in 2022.
So, you know what I think is the best part of this whole friggin' thing? So what would a heel do in this type of promo, okay? So, all right, before I get to that, let's just establish that Becky's the heel and Liv is the face, right? That's how they're
supposedly.
Yeah. So if I just said that and then I said the heel, and then I said one superstar attacked another superstar at her training center with a kendo stick and then chased her out of her own gym, basically, who would you assume did the attacking and who would you assume got chased out of her own gym? You would think it's the heel who attacked the face, except it was the face who attacked the heel. And then they have a promo on Raw, and the things that Liv says are not face. It's not a face promo. Like they're doing such a great job of force, like because what they're doing is they're trying to force their agenda down your throat.
Liv Morgan down our throats.
Yeah, and what the WWE Universe is going to do, and we start with Roman Reigns, you see it with Cena, Angle, is they're going to say, cool, we like Becky better. You can tell us she's a heel all you want, but we just like her as a heel. And so now you're getting like the Deadpool anti-hero in Becky Lynch, and it's just gonna force Liv to being a heel because the crowd just likes Becky better. Like Liv isn't getting any sympathy from the crowd, and that's where WWE is massively failing. It
Yeah.
should have been Becky attacking Liv just to be like, listen, you aren't on my level, and I'm going to show you that by showing up to your place and kicking the shit out of you instead of like
But
Liv doing it and Becky getting the one over on. I don't know.
nah, but see, that's the problem. They booked it kind of wrong because Becky can't go to Liv's thing. Becky has to be above Liv. Like Becky has to act like Kobe Bryant in the sense like that she's not competing with Liv because she's not even
In the
on the same
same,
level.
yeah.
So there's never
She's up at
competition.
315 when Liv's up at 6.
That's my point.
Yeah.
So that's how they got to make, in my opinion, Becky work. Liv has to have a more of a underdog, like I don't know, scrappy. Like I'm gonna, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what. You know what?
Yeah.
I don't know what they can do with her because she's pretty and she falls into the same blonde role that everybody else does. I don't know what to do with her.
And honestly, all that's going to happen is Liv is probably going to win at day 1, and then at Royal Rumble, Bianca's going to win the championship back, and then you're going to see Becky versus Bianca at WrestleMania. I firmly believe that Becky is going to somehow lose this championship at day 1, and it's not going to be clean. Liv is going to get a somewhat short run, and at Royal Rumble, Bianca is going to somehow earn an opportunity to get a shot at the championship, and it's going to be Bianca who beats Liv. So that way Becky can still say she never lost the belt cleanly, and then it sets up another big, hopefully what would be Bianca's real coming out party and getting over Becky by retaining, something like what happened with Bobby Lashley last WrestleMania. And I think that's what's going to happen with this because clearly Liv is, with all the push that Liv is getting, she's clearly going to win. As unfathomable as it seems, somehow I think Liv is going to win this championship, and Becky's not going to win it back off of her. I think it's going to go to Bianca Belair, who the WWE really should be putting their horse behind. Becky can survive without the championship. Bianca deserves and should be getting her time to shine.
I would be happy with Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair being
Yeah.
champs of the two different brands.
Yeah, because you have to develop new superstars.
They don't need the belt. Those other ones.
No, Charlotte and Becky, they don't need it at all. They're already absolute meteoric stars without a championship around their waist. Becky didn't need to come back from maternity leave and instantly be champion again. That was the worst thing that they could have done.
Yep. So my point is, put the belt on the two best young-looking prospects that are like young and in great shape and can wrestle and are badasses in their own ways. They're both strong, physical people. Like, what are we doing? Like, just why? Like, quite honestly, if it was a real fight, Becky Lynch would get her ass handed to her if she tried to fight like Bianca Belair.
Oh yeah,
and like a real fight,
yeah.
Or Rhea Ripley, they'd pound her into the ground, dude. Especially like the same thing with like Alexa Bliss. They would just destroy her.
Yeah.
Like, let's be real. I know you got to suspend belief, but you know what I mean? Like,
only to a certain degree, yeah.
Exactly. Like, come on. So put those two in the spots. Like, let's do this. Let's get it done and just move past it. All right. We've hit an hour. What, you got anything else you want to say about wrestling? Really, anything you want to get off your chest or get into?
Honestly, no. I mean, I'm pretty good. I just there's nothing I can really go on. I've kind of gotten everything out tonight. I've had a couple good rants. AEW continues to kill it. Dynamite's on now. I'm probably gonna go watch that. WWE really needs to figure their shit out. And their top WWE is such a mess at the mid card. The top of their card is so set, except the fact that Drew McIntyre is toiling with Baron Corbin and Madcap Moss, which it should be Baron as a top card heel without Madcap. But anyway, their top card is so set. There's no mid card to speak of. Damian Priest is wrestling two wrestlers that have been in this company for years. He should be wrestling new talent that is trying to get over at the mid-card level to hopefully blossom into a top-card talent, and there's nobody. Where's the Intercontinental Championship? Nowhere to be seen. Their mid-card is an absolute shit show.
Who is the Intercontinental Champion?
It's still Shinsuke. To my knowledge, it's still Shinsuke. I don't believe I've seen anywhere that he's lost the title.
Imagine that for a second. Let's just stop and let that sink in. That the Intercontinental Championship, I don't even really know who it is. I can tell you who the United States champion is. And the Intercontinental Championship used to be a big deal.
Yeah.
Now it's not. At all.
That's I think that is what I will end my pre-holiday wrestling bitch session in the second to last episode we do of 2021 is that the mid-card in WWE is in such absolute fucking disarray. There is nobody that I think is on the horizon to come save the mid-card because all the guys that are top card in NXT are either going to stay there because they're trying to desperately make that a success, or they're going to get kicked up to the top card on the big shows. And there's nobody on the shows right now that they want. Like, why isn't Ricochet holding a championship? That guy is phenomenal. He's the perfect mid-card guy. Cedric Alexander. There are so many guys. Like, you could have Chad Gable as a mid-card contender. Kofi, Xavier Woods. No, these guys are wasted in pointless programs. The tag team division is absolute ass. Outside of the top card feuds, WWE has nothing to offer compared to AEW.
All right. Here's what they got to do. And this is what I'm going to end my thing on. Hold on. They need to get rid of NXT. And they need to take all those wrestlers, split them up, and send them to the two different shows, and therefore build up the mid-card and pre-shows. And get rid of the talking segments and put more wrestling packed into a fucking 2 to 3 hour show.
Yeah.
Get all these people airtime. Stop being lazy. Like, stop working on big, like, storylines. You know?
Well, I think the funniest thing about, because people are, you always see it online where SmackDown is always so good and so tight, and it's usually pretty cohesive. And SmackDown, I think we can agree, is the better written and produced show. Raw is always a shit show. You know why that is? It's really friggin' simple. SmackDown's a 2-hour show. They have less dead time to fill in a 2-hour show than a 3-hour show. These wrestling programs, especially where the WWE is right now, without a large number of established talent, there should not be a 3-hour show. And NXT shouldn't be 2 hours. It should be 1. NXT was at its best when it was a 1-hour show. They just can't write for that long. That's the biggest issue is Raw needs to be 2 hours. If they're gonna fling this kind of shit at us like what we just went through, and have 2 great segments and the rest of it be absolute hot goosebump driven diarrhea, it has to be 2 hours.
I don't know if I can argue with that right there. I'll be honest. It's
acidic and it's bubbling.
They need to just get it done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They just gotta fix this. Bring these wrestlers up, get them going. All right, Joe. I'm gonna wrap it up from there. So tomorrow night is what? Thursday. We get the 2 shows. 7 o'clock is football. 8 o'clock is basketball. For the record, I'm in the final 4 of the football. It's me, Matt, Genius Kev, and then I think Buddy.
Huh.
Buddy made it to the final 4. So
he came back. It's because Cooper Kupp has been basically keeping his team alive.
Yes, they have. All right. So, well, good.
No, I was just gonna say my big money league that I was number 1 overall. I lost C-Mac. I just lost Godwin. Kareem Hunt's been down. Elijah Mitchell's still out. Everything that's carried me to the number 1 overall seed, I'm watching it disappear. I have Cooper Kupp, and that's about it.
Welcome to the fantasy playoffs.
Oh my God! Between COVID and injuries, I'm about to go jump off a bridge.
You know what I'm saying?
It's the difference between me making $50 and $500, and I'm going to throw up.
All right, I'm going to wrap it up now. So, for Joey Paranormal, It's me, Mike Lepre, King Mike L. This was World of Legit Fantasy Wrestling, brought to you by legitpodcast.com, a.k.a. ripodcast.com. We will see you again next Wednesday.
Merry Christmas.
Enjoy wrestling.